and be able to live together, peacefully coexist together. So this is making all the Hindus around the world look to this, and people are demanding that they also such a rich lifestyle. And this is also one of the reasons why the so behind trying to attack the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So, times now, can you please explain to us what right do you have to incite so much of hatred, violence, and fuel genocide? The Hindu diaspora around the world demands an answer, especially the Hindus who are in the USA, whom you're specifically targeting. We demand an answer.
And I wanted to add another point to the Times Now. You see, it is such a systematic attack on the it's an anti-Hindu campaign, literally, disguised as journalism itself. What they are trying to do nation rights for indigenous people, and what they're trying to do with this whole thing, if you look at it, is that they're trying to show, they're trying to blurt out, they're trying to give us so much hate to decide how Hindu diaspora, the displaced Hindus, do something with the indigenous community or not. It just shows our standard, what rights we have. So are you trying to incite that we don't have any rights? We don't have a way to voice out. We don't have any rights to be part of the global scale population. What are you trying to say? You're trying to basically exercise your journalism, all this misinterpretation in the name of journalism to keep us aside, to silence us. That's why we continuously see the same pattern of this anti.
And see, and again, what is the real agenda here? The real agenda of these Hindu-phobic media, anti-indigenous media, who are backed by the elements, they want indigenous to be revived, to be empowered, because that's going to be against their agenda, their selfish interest that they have. But otherwise, you see, what would be the reason for implicating the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in this in this agreement that a US organization has Bolivian in? What else could be other than trying to silence the voices, the Hindu indigenous voices? Because the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the real, the only real voice for Hindus. There's nobody else who is speaking up for Hindus without having colonizers has stripped away from us, and that we are still suffering today in the form of coloniality. All of us Hindus are still suffering, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the only one who has taken this war on him, on reviving the Hindu Swaraj.
Absolutely, and that is the main reason why the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is being targeted here. And false news and propagating hate speech. So what this is creating is it's creating a ambience with so much of hostility, violence. Inside that violence, the Hindus in the USA especially could become the new target, and they could go through the same genocide that many other Hindu minorities are already being subject to.
For example, if you look at Bangladesh, Hindus are indigenous to Bangladesh. But today, what is the sad situation? Hindus are being driven out. They are not to practice their religion. Their very own identity is being stripped away from them. They've been present in that land for thousands of years. And that's not just in the case. Just because they are Hindus, they don't have even, let alone party legitimacy in a but they don't even have religious legitimacy now. And that's not just in Bangladesh. Everywhere else you will see how Hindus are being driven out of their homeland. Even if you look at that, not even 0.1% of the population is Hindus. And Afghanistan, we have reference in the Mahabharata, in other Hindu scriptures as well. We have plenty of reference how it is a Hindus are indigenous to Afghanistan. But the sad situation is not even 0.1% are Hindus.
What you brought up is a very important thing. Actually, this exposes them even further at the borders. They did not cover that. They did not talk about that this extensively. There was not a single case study mentioned. But do you see why is this? And there are a lot more evidences that have been unearthed, and this threatening the Hindus. It is actually harming for the Hindus because it shows how these gangs are to erase the Hindu identity and the indigenous identity. So Times Now, why are you being Hindumisic? Is Times Hindumisia? Times Now did not extensively about the Bangladeshi Hindus facing the Hindu Holocaust. You did not cover about the tiger mob lynching that happened on the Hindu sadhus. You did not cover anything that happened even in your own country. Now, who gives it global jurisdiction? What gives Times Now to think it has global jurisdiction to be able to go into the local matters of what's happening in a different distant country, literally on the other end of the world, while not being able to see what seems too obvious within your own borders?
Not at the prayer. They are trying to legitimize all anti-hate, we are the most ancient form of diplomacy, 14,000 BCE. From right up here, Devi Meenakshi to the Chola dynasty, we are the most ancient form of diplomacy. So who gives you the right to come in and to literally turn the whole narrative around? You're just trying to showcase how the displaced Hindu doesn't know how to get in times. Like, for example, each state will use all the good things of Hinduism, but they deny Hindu identity. For instance, yoga, Ayurveda, trying to claim it's not Hindus. This is from Hindu. The origin is from Hindu. So this is the way all of you are propagating again and again and inciting more against the common. So that's what I want. Who are they to teach us diplomacy? Ancient times itself, a memorial, making a diplomatic relations happen with everyone for the sake of enlightenment, for the betterment of people. And over here, they're not even covering what is happening in their local region, all the exploitation happening in natural resources. The displaced Hindu empowered by the Supreme Pontiff, how to use this ancient sciences of standing and protecting the environment, going into an environmental based protection agreement or anything that is relating to protecting Mother Nature, making the Hindu minorities feel more displaced than they already are. So this is something that is highly alarming, because you can clearly see that they are attacking. They are being they are being literally given confidence, like, hey, you can silence the Hindus that is there. This is basically what they're trying to do again and again. Twist the narrative and incite mob violence, incite more hate speech into the community. So that's what I'm also wanting to add on.
That it was invented recently by the Aryans, and there's clear reference in our Vedas and Agamas that are age old, that Paramashiva himself, it says that I'll give the translation. It says that in Kali Yuga, by chanting the Paschima Maya mantra for 80,008 times, will manifest as power for the kings to fight the 5 Khana, 7 Raha, who will the Hindu Dharma Devi. The word Hindu literally means whole, to defeat and here, when it is mentioned in our Vedas and Agamas, these anti-indigenous, racist, Hindu-phobic, deep state elements are trying to even bring the fake narrative that the word Hindu was recently created. Even the Deva Bhasha, they are saying that, bringing the fake narrative that it was brought into Bharat by the Indo-Europeans very recently, which is totally false. Hindu indigenous nations here in this case, they want to literally uproot the indigenous Hindu nations. But this is where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is bringing all of this to light. Because, see, even like we've mentioned in the beginning, even our scripts mistranslated by Max Muller. So even Hindus see the extent to which the genocide happened. It's not just genocide. To that level, with we Hindus, indigenous Hindus have suffered, and that is still ongoing. It's not media inciting violence, hate on indigenous Hindus, on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and KAILASA, to stop the Hindus from reclaiming their real, authentic identity.
So why do you think this is getting threatened? It looks like is Hindu actually minority. We see this trend everywhere. We are seeing a global race in attacks on Hindus, especially targeted on the indigenous Hindus. Hindus being minority in over 170 countries are being deep state network, a strong deep state network that is so violent that it wants a global erasure of these indigenous traditions, trying to paint the full picture as demonizing the indigenous traditions and trying to cause ethnocide. The recent reports are literally showing more how around the world are getting. Is it because they strengthened? What is the exact reason? What is the motive? So we ask the viewers, you see the facts, you make the decisions. AI has made our lives easier, where you can get access to the information easily. We present to you the facts, and you make the an attack. Every day we are hearing attacks on various Hindu leaders and media channels, prostitute media channels, the Hindumisic media channels, such as Times Now, completely to your borders. Why did Times Now not cover the attacks that the Hindu sadhus are being facing every single day within their own borders? We as Hindus demand an answer from you. Why? This that have been happening the last 2 weeks that we are seeing in multiple locations where Hindus, just because they're choosing to be attacked. One of Hinduism, who is known to the US organization that signs with the Bolivian indigenous land, is even getting pulled into this? Why is Times Now hiding the hard work of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, where he dedicated his entire life, starting from his age of 3, dedicated his entire life to Hinduism? Is this threatening them? Are they shaken because they know the Supreme why is the threat launching of him propagating violence, hate speech, and genocide? Who is side? Which group exactly is getting afraid? What is the reason that the deep state is feeling threatened? Seeing the rise of powers within the indigenous communities. Because this is what we are getting to see as we are receiving continuous messages of support, solidarity from all the indigenous leaders. They're stating very clearly how they are standing strong with KAILASA. Why is the Times Now group hiding over 22 reports that the United Nations has published? You, as a viewer, have the right to know it. And you, as a Hindu, have all rights to ask and stop this Hindumisic. This genocide is a pattern that we have witnessed being victims of for centuries. Now we are seeing the same colonial playbook replay itself. We, as a Hindu nation, demand an answer from the Times Now group for propagating the violence. For KAILASA, and they specifically try to see about how UN is supposed to recognize, etc. Somehow they have, as to they forget how the sovereign order of Malta existed. They even forget about how the Tibet even exists, the Taiwan exists, not a government, and therefore does not possess any authority to recognize either a state or a government as an organization of independent states. It may admit it. What's the exact motto behind Times Now's attack? Continuous, repetitive attack. Because the KAILASA is a sovereign nation, as nations. KAILASA, while recognizing KAILASA's inherited, unbroken historical sovereign status, which is as per the preamble of the UN Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, where it declares that historical rules of customary international law continue to govern relationships. All nations from ancient times have recognized sovereign diplomatic rights irrespective of differing constitutional and social systems. So this very clearly shows how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who is a successor of unbroken succession and who is reviving the 3 ancient Sanatana Hindu sovereign states, namely Suryavamsha Surangi Samrajya Sarvagyapeetam, Swarnapeeta Swargapura Samraja Sarvagyapeetam, and Shamalapeta Sarvagyapeetam. Just the Suryavamsha Sarangi Samrajyam has 4,000 years of unbroken lineage, and the supreme pontiff of Hinduism is a ancient, unbroken lineage of 4,000 recorded years. So why is Times now hiding all this from us? What is their agenda? What
And these media channels, they've completed. Would you just, ignore the goodness that Swamiji has brought for the whole humanity? Because you cannot do it? Because you have not done it? He has provided 1 billion free meals, continued meals in multiple places, continuously, 24/7. How would you just omit this crucial fact when today so many are dying because of famine? So many completely omit this information and instead incite violence on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Likewise, this Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has provided free education to more than 20 million people globally in a so many information from the world when the world is struggling to meet the SDG goals of the United Nations. Why would you omit the fact that KAILASA has been able to meet all of the sustainable development goals that the rest of the world? Don't you think? When you are inciting hate on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, on KAILASA, or does it just itch you that you are not able to do the same? That your so-called, is not able to, actually do the real work, which is bringing the humanity in people why would you just omit these that is providing? And let me also say it is the only state, not just a nation, it is the only state that is providing all of these services, all of the clothing, medical care. No, why would you omit the fact that during COVID, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism turned the monasteries, KAILASA's monasteries, into multi-layer quarantine centers where everybody, irrespective of their faith or socio-economic status, was welcome to quarantine themselves. Classes, free meditation classes, free food, free medical care, and even free internet, so they could continue their work while being in quarantine. And do you know what? Publish, cover this fact, which so many around the globe could be benefiting from. What is your real agenda?
Priya, that's the same thing that all of us are also wondering as Hindus around the world, anywhere Hindus settle. We have the most peaceful way of living, and most of the time we are one of the most richest ethnic minority. What does that mean? Environmental conscious. We are all about the planet. We're all about going green, and we have the most least divorce rate. This, they are trying to make life negative when we are actually the positive, continuously contributing. So this is the, again and again, whatever point that you have proven, why are they not covering all the humanitarian efforts, humanitarian aids that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is actually attending to humanity, which is the need of the hour. And has a solution that is currently trans everyone. Why is that? The media at times now is so deep set, manipulating and destroying the services humanity needs right now.
We have a comment here that I would like to address. We have a person, Texiera, who is asking, do you really believe in this guru? Mr. Max, let me ask you, have you studied Hinduism? What do you know about Hinduism to comment about our Guru, about my Guru. Who are you? First, give your credentials before commenting.
And you're asking about this. You're asking, do you really believe in this guru? I'm sorry, I failed to understand your question. Let me just ask you this question. Which country are you from? Because in the country from where we're living as a part of this lifestyle, and we are living here not just as believing, but we all have the supreme point of Hinduism, not just as our guru. He's my father. I'm the supreme point of Hinduism's legally adopted daughter. So this question that you are posing here just shows how uneducated you seem to be about Hinduism. So we would really love to educate you more about Hinduism, where they forward every access to universal education, universal health, medical care, food, everything completely taken care, and our whole lives just being focused on serving humanity. So what is in this to be believed upon? Sarah, could you please elaborate a little more on your question?
And this is exactly an example of what mob enticing will do. This is exactly what we are trying to continuously share every single time. When Hindus stand up, Hindus unite, there'll always be a single person that will always come back and try to pull the whole actual humanitarian efforts, the whole success that we are in. When people are seeing that you're flourishing as a nation with no, what do you call it, with no army, everything, and that is the stance KAILASA takes.
And I would like to add here also, see, Mr. Marx, the Marx Teixeira, this supreme pontiff of Hinduism, he's not just has been identified as the incarnation of Paramashiva. Would you question, is the current Dalai Lama the incarnation of the previous Dalai Lama? What gives you the right, when you are not a Judaism, sensitive about the sentiments of Hindus? In Hinduism, in the Guru Gita, it is mentioned that Guru Brahma, Guru have a little bit of sincerity at least, study Hinduism, study the scriptures. And I actually invite you to come and join our programs that are completely free of cost, that are empowering people around the globe in various spheres of their life, whether it is manifesting health, wealth, better relations, for decades now, completely free of cost, just to empower people, just to help people, just to bring the various services, the goodness that Hinduism has to offer to the world, completely free of cost, just out of his pure compassion. Just so that finally we can have global peace. Yes, absolutely. But the Hindu music media will not tell this to the world. They will not cover humongous work that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has done selflessly.
Yes, and to add on, actually, Priya, the services. See, what is Kailasa's supreme aim? Kailasa's supreme aim is serving the religious and spiritual needs of 2 billion Hindus and the whole humanity. And how are we doing these services? Through the micronations, to the Hindu universities, to spiritual embassies, temple monasteries, to food banks, Annamandir, Analayas, animal shelter, goshalas, life goals based on the non-violence, ahimsa, peace, and universal human values. Kailasa creates strong diplomatic with national governments and international organizations to develop and administer humanitarian projects aligned with the world's needs. That is why we give services. We empowering women, eradicating poverty and illiteracy, and protecting all these ancient.
Yes. See, these kind of comments are being, may I say, allowed or being accepted, or it, it feels like it is okay to put such comments like the one that Marx put, because these anti-Misic, Hindu-phobic, racist media channels have been propagating hate about the legitimize this Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism of 2 billion Hindus. What agenda do you have? Hinduism enable the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism various things, self-proclaimed and whatnot. What is your real agenda? Why are you trying to break the backbone of his that do you have times now? Why again and again you are just some more real content in your articles. But this is a question that all of us here, for delegitimizing pontiff of Hinduism, for trying to delegitimize the supreme pontiff of Hinduism by labeling him with words like self-proclaimed God. So with this, I hope that this anti-Hindu, anti-indigenous hate speech that is being incited on Hindus, because when you are attacking these supreme pontiff who govern, who administer millions of Hindu sannyasis, has invoked some fundamental questions in our audience here to really think, what is the real agenda of these Hinduphobic, racist media channels? Why would Times Now, who is based in indigenous nations, Bolivia, when the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was not involved in any way? What is the purpose? What is the real reason of? Let's conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Avashishyate. Om Shanti Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavad Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam Padukarpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam